This guy, he's now the longtime head coach of the Syracuse men's soccer team. He is Ian McIntyre. You've been the coach of the team so long, your daughter's graduating high school now. Congrats on that, by the way. You've been here a freaking minute at this point.
I guess so. Thanks for having me on, Brian. But you're right. When we came to town, Lila was just turned 3, and now she's graduating high school. So I had a little bit more hair when we started, but yeah, it's gone very quickly.
That it has, and very successfully, of course, during your time here. Lots going on in the world soccer landscape right now. So if you can help us sort it out, the World Cup starts in a year. The Gold Cup's going on over here. Miles Robinson is involved. I know Tajon Buchanan's doing something. What's going on with your former guys right now?
Yes, it's a busy time. So yeah, we're 1 year away from the World Cup being here in the US, in Canada, and Mexico. So starting to really get excited as you see a lot of games over here. So we've got a Gold Cup with a number of our guys. Tajon's he's had a terrific couple of weeks in a friendly against Ukraine. He was man of the match, scored a goal, had a couple of assists. He just scored a couple more the other night in their opening round of the Gold Cup. They play again tomorrow. Miles Robinson plays for the USA tonight. And Kamal is also with the Gold Cup squad with Canada. So you've got that going on. You've also got the FIFA Club World Cup going on. Ryan Raposo's on the squad of LAFC, who opened up with Chelsea a couple of days ago. So there's a lot of games going on right now.
What is the excitement level in your soccer world here, Ian, that we are a year out from the World Cup being, here in the United States?
Yeah, it's so you're starting to see. So as a passionate soccer fan, can't wait. We're starting to see different pockets. You with especially the FIFA Club World Cup, you're seeing passionate fan bases from South America coming over from other countries around the world, and you're seeing them take over Times Square. You're seeing them on the West Coast, down in Philadelphia as well. So you're starting to see that international kind of flavor coming across for the FIFA Club World Cup. We've also got one of our current student athletes, Sakil Ming, just got through the last round of qualification. So this fall, he'll be he's in a round. He represents Bermuda, and so they'll be competing. And 3 teams will join the groups for the World Cup next year. So we've got we know obviously Canada's already qualified as a home nation. The US has already qualified, but we've got one of our current players that we'll probably lose him, or we will lose him for a number of games this fall. But to see him compete at that level will be fun, and so we'll be cheering on many teams over this next year.
All right, Bermuda, you can get the shorts and the whole thing back. That'll be fun. You can he hopefully hooks you up with some gear or something from them. That's always fun, right? When that stuff's going on here in the United States, first time since 1994 that the World Cup will be over here. I want to ask you about this, just because you were here when he was here the first time. Reggie Thorpe had his introductory press conference for the women's lacrosse head coaching job yesterday. I'm sure you knew Reggie more than a little bit, right, when he was here a decade ago. What's that like for you to see him coming back and joining the staff?
We know he as a coach, as a recruiter, top notch. But as you know, I've interacted with him as a friend, and was here when we started. Wonderful person, and he's a great fit for our women's lacrosse program and for our athletic department. We're very fortunate to add someone certainly of the talent, but of the character of Reggie. He'll be a wonderful addition to our athletic department.
Yeah, I know when he was last year, just for some office geography, your office was give or take right-ish on top of where his office was now. And now you guys have undergone, there's crazy amounts of construction going there. Obviously the new football wing has been opened and all that. And I know a lot of things are going to get moved around. How's that going to help you guys with soccer and benefit you guys, all this construction and stuff that's going on.
Ultimately, the trickle-down effect from it will help all of our Olympic sports. Look, Reggie's got a nicer office than me. They've got a nice cooler in there, so I'll go down and steal some beverages from his program. But no, it's that's what is very special about our department, and the ability for us as a coaching staff, that you're not separated, you're not siloed, you're there together. Look, now it was really intimidating when we started because you had every program, we were the program that would look longingly at the national championships of our programs, as well as competing year in, year out for fighting Final Fours. And we know that Reggie will come straight in with his coaching staff, and will be competing for national championships.
Yeah. Certainly, you've got yours yourself now that everyone can look at, the most recent one around here. Speaking of offices, Gary Gates' office is right down the hall from yours. Have you sat in his crazy lacrosse stick throne that he's got in there? Have you test driven that thing, Matt?
I haven't. He hasn't trusted me with it. He was in earlier today and was like, he didn't realize it was a holiday, so he was the only guy in the lacrosse staff apart from us soccer guys. So no, I haven't. But look, with Gary, you never know. He's always going to bring something new to our athletic department, and it's always traditionally a good addition. So one of these days, I'll be part of the Game of Thrones and be invited into that office.
It could be trickier to make that out of soccer balls. They'd roll off each other, which could be problematic with that. We got Ian McIntyre with us, head coach of the Orange men's soccer team. And Mac, you've been doing this a long time, and the last couple of years here, when you're looking at NIL, when you're looking at transfer portal, when you're looking at this rev share that's coming down the pike, and the changes in scholarships, like you've dealt with more change in 2 years than probably the rest of your career combined. What is this time like for you as a head coach, dealing with all of the stuff that's changing under your feet basically every day?
Yes, it certainly there's been, and it changes constantly. So like the last year, the last 6 months, the last couple of months, and I think trying to be patient as well as coaches, as the landscape and the environment is evolving, and I think that's not just here on our campus. That'll be across the country for Olympic sports and for men's soccer programs. It's kind of working out how things will change, and they will change, but there'll be, you worry and you focus on what you can control day in, day out, and that's the culture within your program. That's the strength of your locker room. And I still think that there will be changes, and there'll be changes within our ACC men's soccer conference, as there will be with all Olympic sports. We just get our head down and concentrate on ensuring that our locker rooms are strong as possible and continues to evolve and grow, and the culture within the program, because I think that is what ultimately will differentiate. And our goals, our standards don't change here. When you've won a national championship, the expectations every year is to compete for one and compete for ACC championships. So our goals don't change. As a head coach, I think you are looking to grow as well, and recognize that perhaps we have to wear a few more hats than when we started as coaches. But I'm enjoying the challenge of embracing this newness, and it's certainly never a dull moment.
That it is not, Mac. That it is not. And, we hear Fran Brown obviously talk about this all the time, because obviously a lot of this money stuff is directly circling around football, and it spreads out from there. But that said, every 17, 18-year-old out there now has got to be like, well, do I get paid? How often are you getting questions about stuff like that you wouldn't have been getting, 3 years ago?
It is starting to be part of the conversation with certain levels within Division One men's soccer, as it is with other Olympic sports. But there's also within this landscape, and this is the big picture when we're talking about revenue sharing, when we're talking about NIL opportunities, and we're still there will still be we're still the changes in with roster size and the changes within scholarships will be different within different programs. So still for us is looking for the best fit for our program, the guys that embrace competing for ACC championships and national championships and want to be here. But it's also, coaching has changed, and it's fully embracing your current squad and getting the best out of that group, but also them developing relationships with them, and so that they know that you care about them, that you love them, and ultimately you want what's best for them. And so yes, there'll be some of that will start coming in, but it's also ensuring that we can that there's not too many, we do have Tajon Buchanan's, we have Miles Robinson's, Nada Poku's, guys that, but even those guys, the Alex Bonos, we still have plans for them to finish their degrees, and they recognize that a Syracuse education is ultimately what's going to differentiate their life down the road. We're here to support them short term, but then come up with a plan for them long term to ensure, and I take tremendous pride in the doctors that have come through our program, as well as those that are competing in Gold Cups and World Cups.
Yeah, at some point, everyone's got to go get a real job. It's pesky. It's very pesky.
I'm trying to not do a real job for as long as possible, but you're right. With our student athletes, they should.
Yeah, I think we're both succeeding at that right now, Mac, so far. You mentioned the roster size thing. Like, obviously, the eye-catching part of all of this is the money, right? Like, that just millions and billions of dollars. The roster size thing seems to be one that could affect things like your team more than anything else. Like, what do you even know about that? Like, that was sitting on a judge's desk for months and months and months before there was finally at least sort of a ruling a couple weeks ago. How do you deal with that when you don't necessarily know how big your team can be?
Yeah, once again, it's making communicating with all the players and families and embracing uncertainty, but also recognizing, hopefully, that we're doing the right, making the right decisions for the right reasons. There will be now, the one frustration for me, but also this is, I'm not the only coach. This is across the country was the delay. It was a tough time to be navigating with our student athletes, and that was every sport, about the size of rosters. And look, I think a little bit of common sense was utilized, for which sometimes doesn't happen in the NCAA. But I think ultimately, look, we're all here to support our guys, our kids, and our student athletes, but as we move forward, the roster piece will be important for each program to work at. And within our particular sport, there's a lot of turnover, not just the transfer portal, but our best players as well have opportunities to move on halfway through at Christmas, getting ready for an MLS draft. So I also think it can be sport specific. You've also got spring sport. So recognizing, I think each sport will embrace this differently, but just ensuring that, I think, with every coach, every program, hopefully, ideally you want to be making the best decisions for our student athletes and communicating the right way.
Yeah, last thought on this big picture stuff here, Mac, especially with your team, right? Like, you recruit internationally very heavily, with good reason. A lot of your best players over the years have been from overseas or various different spots. Obviously, a lot of that in the news right now is rather topsy-turvy. I don't even know how to explain what's going on with that right now. How does that affect you, if at all, so far?
No, it does. We've got some international freshmen that we're still, until they're actually here on campus, we'll be concerned. A number of our incoming freshmen are from Canada this year, which makes it a little bit easier. But we've got a young man from Africa that we'll wait and see. As I said, we're communicating with him and also those that support him, and hopefully he'll be able to join us here for preseason camp. And I think that's with a number of sports here on campus as well as around the country and that also changes day by day and week by week. So it's trying to, hopefully we are calm, as I said, communicate to our guys and their families and recognize, look, we've done this before at different times, at different, if during COVID, or there's been other times when there's been challenges for certain nationalities, and it's really just, but it does make it a little bit more challenging when you factor in some of the other pieces as well.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff I imagine never occurred to you, Mac, when you said, you know what, I'll be a soccer coach. That sounds like fun. Okay, what is camp starting? A little bit more than a month now. What's your summer look like as you get ready? You get a little time to get away, or what's the plan here for the next month or so?
Yeah, my family enjoys time away from me, so their head. We've got a couple of fundraising events. We have our golf event. And then what we really enjoy is we have our Junior Orange soccer camp coming on. So like you talk about, what I'm expecting for my guys. Like, I know a lot about my guys. I'm proud of them because I want them to be compassionate guys, but I want them to be passionate competitors. But I also want you to be able to drop off your 7-year-old for the day, and my guys do a good job. And I'm proud of my guys. So I find a lot out. Junior Orange camp is a real, like, we'll work out if we've got good guys and if we've got some talent this year based on if we can survive our Junior Orange soccer camp this summer.
Hey, if you can corral some 6- and 7-year-olds for a couple hours, no reason you can't win a national championship. That's light work compared to the other stuff. All right, Mac, good to chat as always. Enjoy the summer, and I'm sure we'll talk when the season
Thanks,
comes
Brian. Have a wonderful summer.
Thank you. There he is, our guy Ian